Right. Good. All right. So we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So don't stand up, Patty. Just keep doing what you're doing. But we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I'm going to start tonight's meeting just by quickly reviewing the commission charge and goals, and also the commission charge, which is to ensure that Fairfield is a welcoming community where people with disabilities can lead inclusive and fulfilling lives, participating and contributing as active members of our town. So we have a series of about 5 goals to increase awareness about issues and opportunities affecting people with disabilities, to advise town officials on policies, procedures, programs, and services, including facilities, to provide information and guidance to individuals, businesses, and organizations on matters related to disabilities, to foster and promote a community dialogue with businesses, community organizations, clubs, and associations, and to engage with people with disabilities and their families, encouraging them to participate in town government and planning. So that's kind of the things that we're doing and been charged with keep doing. What I thought might be helpful, some of you might already be thinking along these lines, but one of the things that we've talked about doing for a while is updating our resource document or packet. And it seems like many towns are actually, instead of printing a document and handing it, it's actually bringing it online, and which makes sense. It's like a logical place for people to go looking for information. And so what we wanted to do was start by looking at our commission's page and really kind of getting a feel for what our page looks like. And then if you've had a chance to look at the documents that Julie sent a little while ago, great. If not, it's okay. We're going to go over them. But I tried to pull a bunch of resources and other things that other towns were doing. So I think I went to like Westport, Bristol, New Haven, Bridgeport, just tried to grab like a variety of towns. And I thought what we'd do is just kind of look at some of those and really try to kind of get the ball rolling with what sort of resources do we think Fairfield really should be presenting, you know, for all age groups, really. So let's start here. Let's just take a look at our website. Maybe you've been on here. If you're not, I could say that it is pretty consistent with what other towns are doing, where you have the commission, the function of the commission, the goals. So even as we maybe scroll down a little bit on the page, and then the meeting times, which, once we get settled into a location, like if this is where we would meet regularly, we'd want to update it so people can go on the page and see where we meet. And then, some of the basic information about the commission in terms of what we've been charged with, how many members and all that, more town government information. And then, then there we are. I will say, not that we have to do this, but on some of the town commission websites, there were ways to get in contact with people on the commission. I'm not proposing that we do that this time. If you have time in the coming weeks to take a look at, just Google Commission on Disability and Connecticut, like a whole bunch of them will come up, and just see how they're structured. You might see like an email address, not phone numbers, but like an email address for people to reach out if they have questions. So just a thought, just to put that out there. Now, yeah.
We can see if the town would set up for us a commission email to have like a generic one. I can ask them.
Yeah, that could be great. So what I want to do, right now we have this link, additional links, resources for people with disabilities, but we don't actually have anything on there right now. I think, you can click on it. I think the idea initially was coming off the survey, we'd get a greater idea of how to update that resource booklet. And then we could put some of those things online. But I think what we can look at today is really what are some of the other towns doing? So we'll look at this in a minute, but like I know in Bridgeport, they actually have a form, not that we're all about putting ADA contact information on there, but they actually have a form that anyone can fill out for ADA concerns or requests that would then get sent to the person that handles that in Bridgeport.
In Fairfield, we have the citizen alert system.
Okay.
Go on the town website, but what we don't have a link to that on our commission page.
And then that could be one of the things that we decide we want to put up there. I think that would be, I think how our process would be that citizen, what's it called?
Citizen service request.
Citizen service request. And if they wanted to, could they identify that it's an ADA concern or, okay. Yeah, so that
you go to the location of the concern and you can type in any of the information. There's a comment section, super easy.
Okay, excellent. So that's something we should make note of. Would someone do me a favor? Would someone start keeping a list of things we say, yes, we want that on our, is that okay?
Yeah.
That helps me because I can't chew gum, talk, and take notes at the same time very well. So I apologize. All right, so if I can, I don't know if you have the capability of pulling up any of the documents that Julie sent earlier today, but I'd like to pull up the one that says website commission possible resources on the very bottom there. All right, perfect. We can look at it on the screen. Can you all, I'll wait till it opens. Can you all see that document on your screen, the Word document?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I don't know if I said this to the group, but earlier I kind of went on a bunch of different towns' websites. Bristol was one of them. And Bristol had a really good, basically they had what we have, but then at the bottom of their page, they went into resources and links. And really all of these things were clickable links. Like you would click on it, it would take you, some of them were to national organizations or state organizations. Some of them were local to Bristol, but they were all kind of links to where people could connect to the resources that they need. That first one, the Guide of Activities for Children of All Abilities, we can come back and look at that. It was actually a PDF that was very helpful. Not that we have to put all those things on, but it gave an idea of adaptive activities that I think families were really finding helpful there in Bristol. So something to consider is how do we connect with some of those adaptive activities that would be helpful in our town,
I have a link to that when we get to it.
Oh, you do?
I can find it, I do.
Oh, awesome.
I was just looking, I know SEPTA way a long time ago, they also have a resource, like general resources with some different
Yeah.
links and stuff, because I remember working on this when I don't know how up to date it is, and I don't know, and I believe too, when Andrea Leonardi was the head of special ed for Fairfield Public Schools. I know when she redid the website, I know that there were some resource links there as well.
On the school website to have access to that?
No, I believe it was on like Fairfield, just Fairfield Public Schools, and then they have like the special ed.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what that has on it anymore. She's been gone for a long time.
Well, those would be helpful to link on our page, because even as new residents move into the area, like if you're currently connected with SEPTA, that you might already, like we might know those links are there, but for someone coming into the town, that would also be a helpful direction for them to go in. So if we could, that could be something we want to add to it then too, is saying the Fairfield Schools website and the SEPTA's list of resources. So I don't know if what I would suggest, maybe we scroll down through this document, and if if we see a resource that either jogs our memory or we think, yeah, we'd like to look for one for us or use the same one, we could certainly do that. But I don't know if any of these organizations are familiar to you. Oh yeah, and then I noticed some of them have transportation links for people with disabilities. So local or not. This list, by the way, we're looking at names of people. This is the list of speakers that they invited to come into their meetings whenever they held a meeting. So, you know, you see people from like the Registrar of Voters. They invited, I don't know how this worked or what it came up to be, but members of the deaf community, state representative, the former transportation commissioner. So all these different, which these leaders can be helpful in the sense of understanding what these organizations are currently doing. So if we want to make a list later on of bringing, you know, key individuals in to come and speak with us and share their perspective, then us also to ask for how we can better advocate on behalf of the community of disabilities. That could be, we might want to draw from this list ideas of people to invite.
With the technology, if this meeting space works, people in Hartford wouldn't have to drive down, so we could.
Yeah.
That would be really helpful, have reliable technology.
Absolutely. By the way, I don't know if you can see it now, but Adrian included a list or a link to the SEPTA resources in the, they would have been in the Zoom.
Yep.
Yeah, the chat.
Yeah, there's embedded links on the website that has all the resources that they offer as well. So hopefully we have most of these in our guide. If not, it could be great to sync up with it.
That's great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Would you like to go now?
So if we could, I just want to, can you open up the document All Abilities Activities Guide? So for some of us, this may all be familiar, but for me, I thought this was helpful to see like some of the activities that another town offers. And I believe this was the town where it's offered through their Parks and Rec department. So one thing we might want to consider doing is you know, there's like Special Olympics contact information, but they also had, I think if this was it. Oh yeah. And I looked for this, a link for and contact information for the Little League Challenger League, which is, you know, it's an adaptive baseball league or a league with those coaches and staff that provide an adaptive baseball league for kids. Again, we actually have one in Fairfield. So for us to be able to link to their site that gives contact information, all that gives families, you know, access to what they offer.
And two weekends ago, our Fairfield Special Olympian soccer team won the gold medal in the Connecticut State Games.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Step behind, aren't we?
I know. I that would have been great to kind of promote and wait. So maybe that is something we could ask the first selectman if he would somehow like recognize the team for their victory. You know.
Yeah, it was held right at Fairfield University.
I think Patty's son won some medals too.
Patty, is that true?
Yep, we actually were supposed to be at, my son won 3 golds, but we were supposed to be at Fairfield U for swimming, but we got bumped because there was so much else going on. So we ended up going to Southern this year to swim.
Oh wow!
Congratulations.
But yeah, he worked very hard. But so, and some of these athletes are amazing, but even, like, you know, the track, they just, you know, there's so many events going on. It's just such a wonderful thing. So
Is there like a team from Fairfield? Like I know there's individuals, but Is that something like you kind of bring all the athletes together in Fairfield to recognize them?
Unfortunately, Fairfield does not have a team and no longer does Westport. So my son had to join Shelton Special Olympics team. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think, you know, we all have to contribute money to it. It costs money to be in the Special Olympics, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, that would be a really cool opportunity for us to recognize the Fairfield, the athletes here in Fairfield. So your son, the soccer team, and I don't know if there's a way to find out who the other athletes are from Fairfield, but
We could put it on our
Yeah,
website.
I'm just trying to think if there is a way to find out. I mean, because there's so many different sports, right? You would think that,
right.
you know, they unfortunately have to join other areas, but that's great about the soccer team. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Well, maybe that would be a way to promote the need in town for to put together a team as a whole.
Yeah. I mean,
The coach's name, he's been coaching for 37 years.
The soccer coach?
Yeah. He's also the CEO for Homes for the Brave. So he's very active in the community.
Ron, do you know his name by any chance?
Vincent Tilly.
Maybe I'll try and reach out to him and see if he would be able to point me in the direction of identifying those athletes, and then and maybe even come and speak to the group here how we can get behind them.
If he would.
So I'll try to make a note of that and follow up with them later on. Ron, do you have, by any chance, do you have any contact information for him?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat right now.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'll try to reach out to him unless someone else wants to, if they know him and
I do.
would you mind reaching out to him and see if two things. One, if he'd be willing to come and speak at one of our future commission meetings. And then two, to see if he would have the names of some of the athletes here in Fairfield that we could maybe recognize with First Selectman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
my son is always happy to show off his medals.
That'll be a great opportunity too. Oh, that's cool. That'd be very fun. All right. So if you get a chance to look at that document, again, my hope is that after our meeting, if you can look through and maybe highlight things that you feel like would be important for us to put on our website as resources that that individuals would find helpful, links to the SEPTA resources, links to the school's resources. If the Parks and Rec department has any adaptive activities or programs, even be able to point to them, like the Little League, putting Fairfield American Little League's link up on the site. Those would be very helpful. So I know we're still going through some of them, but if you can, take a look at these documents later on and see what jumps out at you. What would you like to highlight as you're looking through these documents and find what you would find helpful? All right, so great.
Yeah.
One. It's an after-school program, obviously.
Okay.
So there's,
She also there's a camp during the summer, the adaptive rec camp.
yes. That was, I could only find a Facebook page for that.
And then she also does, and I don't know, she also does like an adult on Saturday. They do she does Saturday programming too. She does.
Saturday Poppin'.
Yep. And then there's a group of older adults and then younger.
Well, she would be good then to also invite.
She's great.
What's her name?
Kathy Morehouse. She's been doing it forever. I mean, my son started the special rec camp with her when he was 5 years old, and he's 30 now. So she's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then you could imagine that she probably needs some others to come along with her and just kind of like learn the ropes and
Yeah.
carry the torch on as well. when that
Definitely.
time comes.
Is there anything else you'd like me to open up?
Was there anything else on there that we have for that highlight adaptive recreation?
Fairfield? Not really,
Okay, that's all right.
but there's.
I also,
City Council says something, that they can do, that they will work together. I just didn't have anything updated for this year.
okay, all right. And, you know, there's the Parks and Rec department that I was thinking of is actually the Milford one. The Milford Adaptive Programs is actually through their Parks and Rec department. And it seemed, I've heard really good things about it. I don't know from personal experience, haven't spoken to anyone, but the families I've spoken to and with in town seem to really like, you know, the programs that are offered through there. So again, I mean, these are falling under the category of activities and programs that we can offer or point people to. And maybe this is in meeting with Kathy Morehouse, we can, maybe she'd be open to brainstorming with us, and maybe we can kind of find ways to support what she's doing and put the word out to the town, you know, that we'd like to see this grow. I don't know, but.
We're throwing it out there to see if anybody has ideas already.
Right, yeah. And it's already going on or could be going on if we just give it attention, like connect people to it, yeah. So they've got things like dance, fitness, lawn games, ooey gooey slime club, karaoke club. Man, this sounds like a ball. They're having a ball up in Fairfield. Or Milford, sorry. And then the last real let me just make sure I got what I want to from. I feel like I'm missing one of my documents that I was hoping to share from. All right, I didn't send, there's one other document I sent that had some things from Bridgeport. It's kind of resources they had, like oh yeah, that's
Your
perfect.
permission?
Yeah, their commission. They had a bunch of, I thought they had a bunch of resources listed. You're doing good. Keep scrolling down. See if, because I think it's at the bottom of this. Yeah. Okay. So this is where I was thinking. So if you do disability resources, and then scroll down there's, I thought there were a good diversity of resources that were listed on here. Some of them were state or organizations, you know, apps, you know, that could be helpful for those who are hard of hearing and deaf. And again, I'm not trying to say that's only the older, you know, the elder community, but I know that one thing is that we have a great aging community here in Fairfield. And so I don't want to, I think it's helpful for us to kind of think of resources across the gamut of age range. And so I thought that this website was very helpful in terms of thinking of needs throughout the ages. Like benefits page, things that people might be looking for help, like making sense of and just connecting with different organizations. So, but can we go back one page?
So which?
Just, yeah, just that once. That was just another, like, this was a unique page I came across in terms of how they organize their resources. You know, this again, I said this was the page that had the link. It was pretty direct and clear, like ADA grievance or complaint form. I think ours is probably worded nicer than that, but
Can I click on it?
yeah, please, yeah. It's just a PDF, but it kind of explains. I mean, yeah, the instructions. Which I think is a lot like the only thing, the only difference between the citizen service request is this has specific language around Americans with Disabilities Act, which I don't know if that's necessary or not for us, but it's the same thing other than that. So and then again, back on the Bridgeport website. So if you go, the other, let's go back. Yeah, again, just that idea of the different categories of resources for people, whether it's the resources with different organizations, service providers. I remember at one point, a member on our commission was looking for, I think it was an eye doctor who could meet with this person with, they were using a wheelchair. And, you know, I hadn't heard of, my mind wasn't in that place of what his specific needs were, but this could be a page where we kind of build into as we learn of different providers that could accommodate different needs within the community. So I thought that was very interesting as well. Even if we were to, these are all local organizations, even if we were to kind of use some of these resources as resources that would benefit us. Yeah, so if you can go through Milford's Commission on Disabilities, Bridgeport's is very good. Bristol, those three I think would be probably the most helpful for us to start to look at. If you have other ideas, Westport's seem very similar to where ours is right now. So it didn't I didn't feel like it necessarily offered a lot of information, but it could help because it's local to us and
Just put it up there so you see it.
yeah.
Emergency preparedness is an interesting thing too.
Yeah. And then just mentioning this program, when I met with SEPTA, they encouraged us or me to look at the college internship program that's up in Lee, Massachusetts. That could be a helpful thing as we think about offering families options about beyond high school, and just as a helpful resource on the page. It does look pretty. It looks pretty interesting. There's one of the documents I think we sent along to you. You can look at, but take a look at that website as well when you get a chance, because that could also prompt some ideas of resources we'd like to put on the page. So, this is part of our commission's goals is to, even provide information and guidance. I think it's a way of listening to families in our town of what their needs are and connecting them to some of those needs. And hopefully it will help us grow in terms of knowing what we need to represent to the town and to our families. So. All right. Any questions about that before we move on to the next part of our agenda? You guys got a nice view of the back of my head. All right. In old business, we have survey results. Ryan was not able to be with us tonight. And so he was Adrian had shared some of the survey results with him. And so he'll have to join us at the next meeting and kind of give those updates. Adrian, do you know what we're up to in terms of responses to that survey?
Yeah, it looks like we've had about 125 responses, which is great. We got some more traction in the last, I don't know if it was published in the SEPTA newsletter. I think it was in a bunch of the school newsletters as well. So that definitely prompted probably another 30 plus responses since the last push. I know I realized you had sent me an email and I hadn't responded yet regarding the engagement of the Sacred Heart students. In all honesty, like the relationship I think has been quite good, and the students are usually quite eager and have help. The challenge is they rotate every as a new class comes in, and it's been difficult to kind of have a continuity amongst one class, and I take full responsibility too. I kind of had to segue off and not be able to focus as much on this, and I think I lost track of the current class. The last class gave put a link together. I think they did some branding, but in terms of interpreting and analyzing results, they hadn't quite worked on that because we were still doing pushes. So I think the idea and the intent of collaborating with the class is such a good one. I think the challenge we're going to continue to run into is the continuity, and whether, because you can nip this in the bud in like 2 months and that's great, but if we want this to be kind of an ongoing platform to get current information, we unfortunately are onboarding new students every couple of months, and it's just hard to kind of maintain what that relationship, like what good looks like with that partnership.
No, that's totally fine. And thank you for all the work you've done with that. Like that does sound like a challenge, trying to keep on top of the kind of rotation of new students. But hopefully, I mean, I feel like 125 is probably good for now, and I think we'll be able to pull some information from the survey that will, again, just help give us direction or insight in the direction we're moving in.
There are 2 themes I wanted to raise, just considering the time.
Yeah.
Read through them again. One is next month is Disability Pride Awareness Month, and it may be too late. I think we've talked about this last year too, and it's the recognition of the ADA. I don't know if maybe at least we can maybe publish an article or get the in the newsletter or something. There's some hashtags, social media. I would be happy to volunteer to write something that I can send to you, Dan, on behalf of the commission. And maybe next year we can try to do something more where we do something downtown, or a couple of other larger cities do parades and things. I don't know if we would be able to do anything that quite that big, but maybe a movie event at the senior center or something. If we have more lead time, we can add it to our calendar. So that's the one thing. And then the second is, I know the summer is a time when the Department of Transportation and the Public Works are out making improvements to the roads, and so there's still such a theme in the feedback about sidewalks and accessibility for people who are using whether it's wheelchair, walkers, canes. So to the extent we have any influence or ability to connect with them to see if we can just raise that and say, we know that there are probably certain projects planned, but if we can remind them that this is very top of mind and came through from our residents, that filling, even holes inside. And I have even people listed some streets in particular that we could offer. And I don't know if we have any ability to just say, if these could be at all added, or at least if they're not on your radar already, if we could add them, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that'd be great. Maybe, whatever details we have on streets and things like that would be great for us to. Can we fill out the concerned citizen request for them once we have? Okay. So yeah, so we could take that information and fill out the citizen request form. I keep forgetting what it's called. I'm sorry. But so we could do that for them. I also think too, putting a link to that citizen request form on our page, could help people to share that feedback as it comes up for them too. We can point people to that link and thank them for noticing that, and then pass it along. That's the proper channel for us to do that, which would be great. So, yeah, no, go ahead.
If we have the new ADA compliance officer come to our next meeting, it would be great to ask him process what's the best way to get him that information. Is it the request form, or is it by conversation? It would be that would be a great way to, start engaging him.
Okay, great. Would you be willing to ask him to join us?
Happy to.
So catch me up to speed. I'm not familiar with what what a town does with Disability Pride Awareness Month. Is that something where if we want to recognize these athletes from the Special Olympics, would that be something we organize an event around that in July, or is that not really appropriate?
From what I've read, I think it can be anything you really want it to be. And it could, it looks like some other cities have done things like, bringing people together, sharing resources. There's some social media hashtags that are being promoted, but I think it coincides nicely. I think if we wanted to publish an article recognizing those individuals and then reminding people also that July is Disability Pride, and we can put the hashtag in as well. It would be, I think, a nice way to kind of bring it all together.
Okay.
I wonder.
Yes, you.
Thank you. Maybe we could get a proclamation and have a press conference congratulating the athletes, have Bill Gerber ask if he would do a proclamation and have it in honor of that. We could get their kids in, have a big announcement.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So how do we go about getting the names of the athletes, just in case, just so we don't forget anybody, I guess?
I think Ron is going to initially reach out to Vin. Is it right, Vin?
It's for the soccer names. Yep.
Yeah, and he'll have the soccer names. Maybe he'll have a suggestion of someone we could reach out to, to find out more. I could also try reaching out to the Special Olympics organization here in Connecticut and see if they would be willing to share that information. We might need someone officially from the town that would request that information. I don't know, but I can also reach out to them simultaneously.
It could also be that sent to them. They may not want to share the names with us, but we could share a letter to have, give us a call if you'd like to be honored.
Okay.
Great. I can put a little blurb together about Disability Pride and then send that to you. So however it can get used into the whatever format it ends up.
That'd be great. Okay. So we'll come back to survey results more in the future, but it is good to even see those two themes jumping out as things we can.
And definitely the resources. So, the other work that you've already spoken about, there's repeated requests for any way to share resources.
More and more. Okay. Great. So in terms of planning goals and goals for commission, the only thing I would say, as we go out from here in working on our the planning goals for the commission, is really these two areas: looking over the resources that are listed on these other towns' websites and starting to brainstorm what do we think are Fairfield's unique needs that we want to highlight resources for. And then secondarily to that is kind of moving this direction of highlighting Disability Pride Awareness Month and also really trying to focus in on celebrating these athletes that competed a few weeks ago. So that I think that's really, in terms of action items for us, that would be that.
There might even be an opportunity to leverage some of the close by towns and the things that they're doing and just jointly promote on our website. Westport has Club 203, which is bi-monthly gatherings of more of the adults, over 18. They just had an event, Campo Beach. There's another that was started by the Curran Volkswagen family. Then there's another one called Live It Up, which is more, Trumbull, Bridgeport, Fairfield. So there are other things that not necessarily hosted, or run by Fairfield, but draw from, the neighborhood.
That would be great. Yeah. So make note of that, because I think that would be great to share as well as one of the resources we could maybe either advertise or put on our website as a resource for people to connect with. Thank you, Ron. Okay, department update.
We're waiting, I don't know if it's announced yet, but the town does have a new ADA compliance officer, and I didn't check before our meeting to find out whether or not we were allowed to say who it is, but we'll try to invite him to the August meeting. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Was there, and did you want to invite people to the Human Services Commission as well?
Yes, Bill Gerber is attending our Human Services Commission meeting, which is the last Thursday of the month, I believe it's the 26th, but right around there. It's at it's at 4 o'clock at the senior center, unless we can get this room again. And he's gonna just talk about what some of his priorities are and how it's going so far. So if anybody would like to come, we're gonna have it you know, Zoom and in person. I'll send out that link to you.
So that was June, the Tuesday or a
It's a
Thursday?
Thursday.
All right, so that would be June 27th. Then we can go and we can raise our hands and ask really bad questions, and we'll look like we're a part of the Human Services Commission. Make them look bad and we'll look good. Just kidding. All right, do we have anyone from the public? Yeah.
No, I don't think we have for the public. I forgot to put the minutes, approving the minutes.
Oh, yeah, so we have to vote on the. All right, so one of the things we have to take a quick vote on before we adjourn is the draft of our April minutes. Can I get someone to make a motion? Okay, anyone second it?
Second.
All right, thanks, Ron. All right, all in favor of approving the minutes from April, say aye. Aye, or raise your hand. Patty, we're assuming you're raising your hand right now.
Yeah, I say aye.
Great, thank you. And there's no comment from the public. That we're done. And our next meeting right now is planned for August 13th. This room is pretty great. So if hopefully we can get to use it again. And hopefully Ryan, one of our new commissioners, will be able to join us as well for that. So until then, I hope you guys all have a great summer, and we'll feel free to reach out if you have any questions or comments, but we'll go over the resources again in August with what we've gleaned from the different websites. All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.